Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining me. This is Dating Chronicles. It's March 31st. Wow, March 31st, 2026, last day of March. Seems like this year is accelerating. The first quarter is done. And so there's more to come. So let's chat. Let's chat. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's go ahead and take care of some housekeeping really quickly. Go ahead and like the video. I'm sure you'll love the content. If you are into the dating space, relationship space community, then I'm sure you'll enjoy this. This is what I would entitle Dating Chronicles. We've been doing this for, I'm going to say, maybe about a year or so. From time to time, I'll just come on and share my thoughts about dating or relationships. And what's interesting, this is current, when things happen. I just like to share because I really do believe that, we can learn from each other. We can learn from our experiences and grow. And so here's the thing. Let me bring up this scenario to me, and you tell me what you think about this particular scenario. Now, in the dating space, especially when I'm encouraging people of how they should engage in that dating process, number one, you have to define your reason, your why. Why am I dating? Define that. Know what you want. Know what it is that you're pursuing. What is your end game? What is the end goal? Know that. If you are a person that is just looking for something casual and that's all that you're looking for, try to find a connection that has the mutual interest in something casual. If you're someone that's interested in something more long-term and permanent like marriage, then again, your goal is to connect with someone with the same mindset, the same goals. And so you move differently, right? If you're looking for something casual versus looking for something long-term, you move differently. You should, at least. And for those that are really serious about finding something long-term, or if you're looking to be married, but that's the goal for you ultimately, then you should show up different. And it's unfortunate that we have to have these conversations, but we do because, a lot of people drop the ball and a lot of people miss opportunities when they could be making or creating something meaningful with someone. But that person just becomes uninterested because of the way that they're moving. Some folks that claim that they're seeking something long-term are moving as if they're seeking something casual. And then some folks that are seeking something casual are sometimes moving like they're seeking something long-term. It's very interesting, that dynamic, when that happens. And it's very confusing for the person that is on the opposite end of that. So I say, know what it is that you want. Okay, get that out of the way. Be clear, right? Be super duper clear on what it is that you want. And again, we talked about being futurists. For those that want marriage, we know that's in the future. So we move accordingly. So every decision we make is going to impact the future. The person we select is going to impact the future. And so we govern ourselves accordingly. So you have to move with that in mind. And also, in terms of rules of engagement when it comes to dating, please know that you're meeting someone new. This person more than likely is a stranger. Now, it is possible that you can connect with someone that you already have a rapport with. Maybe it's a colleague, it's a coworker, maybe it's a classmate, it's someone that you know within your inner circle, or someone that knows you, third party connection or what have you. All right. So that's possible. So with that being said, they may know some things about you, like surface level things. And so there are some things that you don't have to introduce in terms of new concepts because they're already familiar with you to a certain degree. But if this person is a brand new person, this person you've never met before, they don't know your middle name, they don't know your last name, They don't know your phone number. They don't know where you live. They don't know what you do for a living. They don't know if you're employed. They don't know what you're interested in, your interests. They don't know your likes. They don't know anything about you. Okay, you're a complete stranger to them. But they're wanting to get to know you. Again, the whole process or the whole point of dating is to collect data. Now, while you're engaging in this process, yeah, you have to, I would strongly recommend at least, that you not make it a chore. Like a person that is trying to get to know you shouldn't feel like it's daunting. They shouldn't feel like it's an interview. They shouldn't feel like it. But at the same time, and this is kind of where common sense has to apply, if someone is getting to know you, but you are unwilling to open up and you're unwilling to share basic things about you, like things the government would know about you, right? Things that may be common knowledge about you, all right? But you're unwilling to share with a person that you claim that you want to know, then I would say it's better to sit on the sidelines for now and not participate in the dating process, because clearly you're not ready. There's nothing uber duper personal about what you do for a living. You should be able to answer the question, even if it's indicating what industry you're in, because you don't want to be too specific, because you're still trying to determine if this is a person that is trustworthy, because they're still relatively a stranger. And it depends on everyone's comfort level. But if somebody is asking, what do you do? Or tell me about yourself, and you are declining to respond to the question, or you deflect the question as basic as, tell me a little bit about yourself, just so that you know, that's extremely off-putting. Because again, the whole purpose of dating is to get acquainted. The whole purpose for dating is to get to know each other. And if you're not willing to give surface information, then you shouldn't be participating in the dating process. So let me indicate a few things that should be fair game in terms of information that you should be comfortable to share. What you do for a living, or the line of work that you're in. If you don't want to specifically say what you do, because again, you're still trying to get comfortable with this person, and let's say you determine maybe after a few conversations that this is not someone that you're interested in, and or this person is not compatible. That's fair. So you don't want to tell them exactly where you work. I get it, right? I get it. A lot of crazy folks out here, and so you're trying to play it coy. You want to answer the question without giving them a whole lot of information. So what do you say? You say, I'm in the field of sales. You say, I work in tech. You say, I'm an educator. You say, I'm a mechanic. You just simply say, right, in general, what it is that you do. I'm an entrepreneur. You say, I'm a student. So there's many ways of answering the question without revealing too much information too soon. But to not answer the question would lead someone to believe that you're unemployed, or you're between jobs, or you're lazy, or, and again, we have to talk about the gender aspect of that. Because if you're a man, and we know that most men feel like what they do is a part of their identity. So there is some type of psychosis connected to what it is that you do. I get it. But at the same time, it should be also understood why the question is even asked in the first place. Women ask the question, for those that don't know, because they want to see if you are a good provider, or will you be a suitable leader. Leaders are able to take care of their families, suitable ones. The Bible says that if a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. So a person is trying to gauge, number one, that you are employed. I'm not asking you what your salary is. Now, there's some women that are more direct and they may ask you, like, how much do you make? I think that's a bit intrusive for the beginning, like for beginning conversation. I think eventually it should come to that. You should have that conversation. But that's at the point you decide to get into a more of a long-term relationship. If you're considering just locking it in and not seeing anyone else, then you can start having those conversations down the line. But in the beginning, in terms of what your salary is, really at the early stages, it shouldn't matter because you're more focused on other things, in my opinion, that should be a priority, such as character, such as compatibility in terms of spirituality, faith, goals, gender roles, and things like that. Just see if you're a good fit, personality, common interests, and things of that nature. And even down to what you do, that can even be a point of connection. Like, for example, if let's say one of you happen to be an entrepreneur and the other one, you're an entrepreneur too, but maybe your area is finances. You do taxes and finances. You have a small business that does taxes and finances, right? Or you're a CPA. If that person just happens to have a small business, you'll be helpful, right? And then they too could have something like in terms of gifts, talents, skills, and abilities that can help you. So having to see or being able to see why the connection in the first place. Because again, when you're looking for something long-term and the goal is marriage, you're trying to discern the purpose for the connection because there is a purpose in the connection. But if you're not willing to even have a conversation from the beginning, it is extremely off-putting. It is extremely, it's a turnoff for most people because you're not willing to engage. And you should be willing to engage, especially if you're in a dating dynamic. And especially if this is like your first time having a conversation, you have to be willing to participate. And so if a person is not willing to answer questions, then they are essentially telling you, that they're not willing to participate, or they're only willing to participate on their own terms. And I have to say that there has to be an ebb and a flow. So it can't be about your terms only. You have to consider the person that you're trying to get to know. And again, if they're brand spanking new, if they are a complete stranger, these are things that would be considered need to know information. And this is my rule. These are the rules of engagement. Anything that someone needs to know about you, you should be willing to be transparent about those things. If you're not willing to be transparent about those things that someone needs to know about you, to make a decision as to whether you're suitable so that they're not wasting a whole lot of time, then again, maybe you're just not ready for dating. And I think that's a fair assessment. That's a fair conclusion to make. If a person is unwilling to answer basic questions. I was in a conversation, again, this is a dating chronicle, and this was a real life dynamic where the person was unwilling to answer the question. They were saying, oh, we'll get to that, somewhere down the line. Like, what's that? I'm asking you a direct question about like what you do or who you are, and you're dodging the question. Like, what is the point of talking on the phone if you can't answer basic questions? Because to me, that's about the most basic in terms of adult conversations. It's like we're not children, or I have to know what your favorite color is. That's cute, but that's something that I don't need to know, right? That's something I can come to know later, you know, if there be a connection, if we're going to form a relationship, perhaps. But yeah. And so the person said that asking about what a person does for a living is like asking, it's equivalent to, this is what they said, it is equivalent to asking how many partners that you've had sexually, or what is your body count. That's what they said. I said, what? So asking a common question. When you fill out an application for a credit card or bank card or whatever, line of credit or whatever, you know, they ask you when you're applying for a job, whenever they're trying to gather information online, they generally ask you, what is your profession? That's one of those things. And those folks are complete strangers. But if you're claiming you're getting to know someone that you could potentially marry, but you can't answer the question about your profession or what you do for a living, I find that to be a red flag. I find that to be a red flag. Okay. So they refuse to answer the question. And they tried to make the case, it's like, would you be willing to answer the question about how many bodies? Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't mind answering it all. You know why? Because I have very few. So I don't mind answering the question. So again, you have the right one, but you have the wrong one at the same time, right? So yes, for a person that is, promiscuous, maybe it will be offensive, and that's something they will want to hide, but that's not me, right? So I wouldn't mind answering the question because I'm an open book, And so, yeah, as a leader, very transparent about my life, very transparent. So I'll answer any question, especially if it makes sense. But I did have to push back a little bit to say, but I have to strongly disagree that your profession, though I don't mind answering the question with regards to my body count, not a problem, because obviously I'm not a promiscuous woman. So I don't have a problem answering the question. I have anything to hide or nothing to be ashamed of. Okay. But those two things, they're not equivalent. The second question with regards to body count is very intrusive. Very intrusive for a first time meet. And the mere fact that I have to school you is an indicator that we're just not on the same page. And what was also interesting about that conversation was this whole notion of, I feel like I'm being interviewed or I feel like I'm being judged. I said, it's this attitude. And I'm like, it's clear you don't know a lot about women. Because first of all, it's an emotion, not an attitude. It's an emotion. And what you are sensing, right, is a tad bit of frustration because now you're wasting my time. If a young woman or a woman gives her phone number to you, a complete stranger, right? Again, for women, it's really all about safety. So giving her phone number, and like I said, as for me, I'm divinely protected, and the numbers that I give out are professional numbers. So it's neither here nor there. I'll just block the number. I'll just block their number because it's a business number. That doesn't matter. It's everywhere. So for me, it's not that big of a deal. But I will say, if I'm giving it to you specifically for personal reasons, that must mean that I'm interested. And if you receive it and you take it and you minimalize it and you don't take it seriously and take advantage of the opportunity, it to me, it reeks of this person is irresponsible. It reeks of this person is not that strong of a leader, the type of leader that I need, right? He's not for me. He may be for someone else, but he's not for me. And here's another one in terms of the experience. Of course, from the beginning, this person's talking that talk, right? And I have to say, you men that do that, you talk a big game from the gate. That's cute. And women, please don't fall for that. Really look through all of that, because there's something beneath it. Really, I get coming off strong. I get being passionate. I get, but women, don't get caught up into the words. Don't get caught up into the woo. Don't get caught up into any of that. Okay, the flattery. Please stay grounded and discerning. Okay, because that is not an indicator that person is a strong candidate, because they appear to be a strong candidate. So this person in particular reached out. They read my profile, which is always a plus. They get a star, if they read the profile. For me, at least, it lets me know that, hey, they can read. And it's so funny because I talked to my female friends. I said, great, he can read. Because there are some people that don't take the time to read, right? So I'm like, great, they read. When they make mention of it, when they're reaching out to me, it is an indication that they did take time to read it, which is great. Because that's the whole purpose, right? To qualify. That's the whole purpose. But if you have little to no information on yours, it makes it even more difficult for me to qualify you. And that's why the questions. And that's why I would say to the men that don't feel comfortable and on about sharing certain things, then feel free to put what you want to put on your page or on your profile, so that you can kind of eliminate some of those questions. Because if you just simply let them know in general what you want them to know about you, they don't really have to be, they'll just stick to the surface. Because again, there are rules of engagement when it comes to social interaction. And you may say, girl, why are you even having this conversation? Because these are people that are in their 50s. These are people that are in their 60s. These are people that are in their latter 40s that don't seem to understand the rules of engagement when it comes to dating, or just simply rules of engagement when it comes to social interaction or interpersonal relationships. They seem to lack that. And so I'm finding more that if I have to instruct a person about basic interactions with the human, specifically the opposite sex, that means I'm now putting on the hat of a coach, and you've now become a client. And therefore you become disqualified, because I'm not marrying my clients. I am trying to vet and or discern my man. And my husband is going to be able to lead me. And he's going to have some level of understanding about certain aspects when it comes to stuff like that, because of how I move. I can't teach him certain things, even though we're going to teach each other things, because that's just life. But in the beginning, I shouldn't have to teach them those basic things. I'll have a hard time submitting to a person like that, because I'll feel like they're not mature for me, not mature enough for me. So I need a man who is mature. I need a man that knows how to communicate. I need a man who is ready to be transparent. If he feels like I'm his person and they're really strongly considering me, then he has to be willing to be transparent. And he has to be willing to be himself, authentically himself. And if he's not ready for that, then he's just not the person for me. And guess what? That's okay. Right? That's okay. Just when we discover that, let's just nip it in the bud. Because again, for those of you all that have been following me for quite some time, I told y'all about that thing about being in a woman's ear. That is her kryptonite. So if you're in my ear, and all the sweet nothings and all the things, eventually you're going to persuade me. And that's why Eve was deceived, because she gave the devil audience. The same with us as women. The more we spend time and give men audience, they're in our ear, they're going to persuade us, and or we may be deceived into thinking that this person is our person when they are not. So that's why you have to be careful about time you do spend listening and engaging and in conversation with a person that doesn't qualify. And you know in the beginning if they're qualified or not. But what do? We often give people chances. And that's our kryptonite. That's our downfall. We often give people chances that we know that they're not for us. Again, that does not mean that they're not for somebody. There's stages, there's levels to this. There's levels to this. So again, knowing who you are, that's it. You have to know who you are. You have to know your identity. You have to know who you are. You have to know your level of maturity in order to properly discern who would be appropriate for you. Here's the thing, and I'm really going to be transparent here. I can't be with somebody that feels like my daddy. I can't be with somebody that feels like my daddy. What does that mean? If a person is too old or an older, more mature man, and he's talking to me like I'm his daughter, that's not going to work for me. I have to feel like a partner. I have to feel like we're co-laborers. I have to feel like we're on the same page. And yes, there might be some areas that you may be higher than me or more mature than me or a leader, but I have to feel like an equal. I can't feel like you're a parent to me and I'm a child. So there's that dynamic. And then I can't feel like the mama. Okay, I can't feel like you my son. That's not going to work either, right? And sometimes it has nothing to do with age. Sometimes it is about mental and emotional maturity. Okay, so if I feel like the dynamic is such where it's like, little girl, sit down, somewhere. That dynamic, like you're talking about your pawpaw in them, like, sit down, little girl, and you're trying to share, you're excited. I need a friend. I need a peer. I need a colleague, and someone that can lead. That's the dynamic that I need. So if I'm in conversation and again, you're not answering questions, your philosophies are a little bit off, or it's just simply not in alignment with mine, at a point that I'm going to get, you know what, this is not working for me. And I know me well enough to be able to make that call. And it was interesting because it's dynamics like you act like I'm interviewing you, but you are. You don't know that? Yeah, and it's mutual. That is correct. That's like I told him, I'm like, yeah, that's what this is. Absolutely, right? But it shouldn't feel like it. But if you've dropped the ball a few times, I'm usually a strike 3 type of person. I should be a strike 1, a 0 tolerance type person, but I try to give people a chance. This individual in particular, again, talking the big game from the beginning. Oh, yes, I don't know. That's wonderful. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's, yeah. Okay, I can see you. Da, 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 da. Okay, well, give me your number. Cool. Now, mind you, early in the morning, this brother's reaching out. I'm thinking, oh, he'll at least pick up the phone, have a quick chat, and hey, if it feels right, if there's a vibe, if we're connecting, if we're having the right kind of conversation, and or if things are coming up and it's matching, the energy is matching, there's some things that come up in terms of data that can be retrieved to see if we're on the same page. Cool. And, we can continue on this conversation time. He was like, I'll call you tomorrow. I'm like, okay, but he's going back and forth. Let me say this. Everybody's not a texter. Everybody's not I don't mind writing. I love to write. I do actually like to write. I don't mind writing because I think sometimes you can understand people a lot better when they can just write down their thoughts, and they can express it uninterrupted. I think that's good. But when you're getting to know somebody, You do need to kind of be on the phone, at least initially. And I will say this, there's some folks that it'll start out strong over the phone and then all they do is text you. I'm just not a fan of that. Just call me when you have time. It's okay to like text, hey, good morning, good afternoon, I hope your day's going well or whatever. Maybe we can connect a little bit later. So when you do text, it's not just about these niceties, right? It's about trying to connect. So connect. Hey, I was thinking about you. Hey, let's connect a little bit later. Do you mind? What time is a good time to call? Or hey, do you mind giving me a call around this time because I think it'll be easier because I'm, cool. We'll take turns or whatever. But to sit there and text one-liners or two letters and that's it, after having a conversation on the phone for about an hour, 30 minutes, and going forward, all you do is text, just tell the truth. You're not as interested as you once were, for whatever the reason. Because I know there was one person and I said, maybe we could just be friends. And I really meant that. And maybe he interpreted that to mean she was not interested in anything deeper than just a friendship. That's not what I meant, but maybe he interpreted it as that. So with that being said, it began to kind of pull away a little bit, which is fine. Again, that's where that miscommunication aspect. Don't lean to your own understanding in this process. Like I said, that's why I like to ask questions when it's appropriate, because in that way you can get clarity. I don't know you well enough to really have an opinion because, again, the jury's still out. I can't, I need more time. I need more data to make an opinion, to form one. Okay. So the person got the number, did not call. I didn't hear from that person until I unmatched us. So what I did was, there's been some folks that I've been talking to back and forth or whatever, and some people we've made connections, and some folks we've actually met. We did a meet and greet, and but I just didn't feel the connection, so I just said, hey, you know what, maybe we can just be friends. So with that being said, I just decided to clear up, my message and unmatch myself with these people that I feel like that either the conversation was no longer there and or we took it off of Facebook and we're just, at this point we're just texting and talking on the phone. I just opted to remove them as a match. And so the person that got the phone number that didn't call when he said he was going to call was unmatched. So what he did was he texted me out of the blue. Again, he didn't call like he said he would. He texted and said hello. And I didn't know who it was because the number didn't look familiar to me. And then he said, this is so-and-so and such and such. Why did you block me? I'm like, what do you mean? Block you? And then he's like, you blocked me and I was really interested in nah. Well, if a person's really interested in you, they wouldn't wait a week to call you. I mean, I would never encourage that. I would never recommend you waiting a week if you claim that you're interested into somebody. I'm talking about a week after you've done that initial interaction. Never do that. That person is still on the market. So I would say, men, women, you're still in the market until you're not. There are some people, people have the audacity. There was another person that was saying, hey, now that we're talking, how do you feel about getting off of the Facebook dating app? How do I feel about it? And we're just talking. I'm not going to do that until I'm taking it off the market, until a decision is made. If it's you, it's me, that we're going to be together, or we're going to take this a little bit more seriously. We're going to begin to really date or court. Then cool. I'll take myself off the marketplace, no problem. Off the Facebook app or whatever dating app that I might be on or whatever. Sure. But why would I do that if that hasn't been determined? Just having conversations with you, we haven't made that determination that we're going to go in that direction. Have you made the determination that I'm the one for you? Because I haven't made that determination that you're the one for me. So why would I do that? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, huh? So I'm like, why do I have to explain these things? Gee. So with that being said, I explained to that person that eventually texted me, but still didn't call, that time is like currency. Once expended, you can never get it back. And I told him, I said, well, I assumed since there was no communication that you weren't interested. I did not know the unmatched feature was a block feature. I didn't know that. So I think that's what he said. I don't think, maybe what it does is it removes you from that person so that they won't be able to find you anymore. Maybe that's what it does. And so I explained to that person that that was not my intention, did not know how that worked exactly, but he was unmatched like others because there was no activity. And I think that 48 hours is 24 to 48 hours is more than enough time, especially after a person gave you their phone number, for you to at least call to determine, again, we're qualifying, we're trying to determine if it's even worth our time moving forward in any capacity. And you did nothing. So I just assume that you're not interested. I am. I was just going to. I said, listen, you have my number. You know, the ball is in your court. You can either like call or not. You know what I'm saying? It's on you. It's up to you. All right. And so funny thing is I did a voice recording. So for those that are not on social and don't follow me, don't know what I sound like. So I sent a voice message, and I guess when he heard the voice, he was like, oh, I like your voice. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, again, I'm not trying to say that I'm underwhelmed. I'm just saying that now you already got your strike one. And this is like super duper early in the morning. So technically, even how you're approaching, you didn't even apologize. Like, but I'm overlooking this stuff. But to me, that's technically a strike too. But I'm gonna call, I promise. Tomorrow. Okay, cool. What time? Set up the time between these hours. I'm available. All right. So he calls. Now, mind you, when we were in the chat before he received my number, I asked him, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Oh, my life is pretty boring, probably in comparison to you. Tell me about you. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Again, if we're getting to know each other, I don't care if your life is, that's for me to determine. I know, I get your thoughts. I get your opinion about your life. I get that. But again, if we're trying to get acquainted, I think I need to know a little bit about you. Now, what you share is your prerogative, right? Because at this point, I know zero. So what you share is your prerogative. Be selective. If you don't want to tell it all, then don't. Just be selective about what it is that you want to share. I come from a big family. There's so many things that you can share. I'm a native of here. I was born here. I'm from here. I relocated over here. I've only been in this area for here. I'm into fitness. I love to travel. I mean, there's so many things that you can share about yourself, but if you don't know yourself, that's hence the problem oftentimes. You haven't tapped in to really know yourself. So when you have conversations, you don't know what to say. So you deflect. And I'm telling you, especially if you're interested in a woman that is relatively intellectual and she has some form of intelligence, okay? Like higher intelligence than the norm. You're going to have to be a conversationalist and or choose someone that's not into the brains. Choose someone that's more into the bronze, okay? More into surface things or into just dealing with their hands or dealing with certain aspects of life. And you guys may be, let's say you're more into music, you're a music head, you're a shoe head, okay, you can relate on that. You can say, hey, you know what, I'm a foodie, I enjoy to eat. I mean, you have to know yourself enough to be able to have a conversation about some of the things that you enjoy. And if you don't know, then you need to write some things down. Let me coach you. Let me coach you. For some of you all that just maybe like, huh? What? I don't understand. No, okay. So ask yourself, write the question down. Ask yourself this question: what do I like to do? Okay, that could be a plethora of things. That could be I like working out. I'm very meticulous about my body and about my health and about wellness and about mindfulness. If that's your thing, then that's your thing. So if somebody asks you, well, what are you into? Tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm really into health. I'm really into wellness. I'm not into the medical field, but I really do take care of myself. I eat certain foods. You may be a vegetarian. You may be a pescatarian. You may be a vegan. You may be whatever. That will give you an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I don't eat certain foods and stuff like that. I'm really careful about how about you? Okay, you gave them a little bit. So now they can either say, hey, you know what? That's my job. That's my jam too. Or they can say, wow, you know what? I'm into working out as well. Now I'm definitely mindful. I cut off here. And then you can, again, you're making connections. Or you can say, you know what? I love to travel. You know what? I try to at least, I know it's crazy right now with the wars and all the things, but I do like to visit other countries. I love to, explore internationally. I've been here, I've been there. Then they can either say one of two things. They can say, oh, that's cool, or wow, okay, I'm on the same page. You know what? I just came from so and so, or such and such. On my bucket list, I really want to visit, this place or that place, or I love to travel. I wish I can do it more. But because of my work schedule and because of my home life, it becomes a little bit difficult. But maybe you can pull me out of my cave, or maybe you can motivate me, because that's something that I always love to do. Because at least, okay, let's say you're not doing it as much as they do, but you still have very similar interests, and that's something you want to increase in your life. And if they are currently doing it more than you are, and they're equally as excited about it as you are, then they're going to help you to, fulfill some of those dreams and check off that bucket list. It's a win, right? Oh, I'm into gardening. I'm really starting to just play and plant and really be out there. It's therapeutic for me. Okay, you know what? I've been interested in having my own too. I've been interested in going back into nature. I've been interested in or I love to just walk and to walk trails and to be, whatever, and to take my shoes off and to be grounded, or whatever. You're making connections. You're finding connections. And if there are no connections, then don't make it up. Like, if there's no connection, just be like, okay, that's cool, and leave it at that. Because sometimes opposites do attract. They may be an outdoorsy person and you're not so much, but their outdoorsy side is going to influence you. But you have to be open, and that's what I will say. If you are interested in that person, let's say some of their hobbies or some of the practices, some of the things that they're into is just something that you're not into, but you're considering them as, and say other areas you're connected, but it's just like the one or two things where it's just something that's just not you. You don't have to have everything in common, just the major stuff. When I say major, meaning core values, your perspectives with regards to how a household should function, whether it's roles and responsibilities, you should have those things in common. You should at least agree. Because the Bible even says, how could two walk together lest they be agreed? Like if he has one way or you have another, or she has one way or one thought process with regards to headship, or with regards to the gender roles and responsibilities, with regards to children and all the things, or faith. I mean, again, you got to have some things in common. So as long as you have the major things in common, money, as long as you have the major things in common, some of those other things, you're going to either positively influence each other, or you're going to give that person some additional experience. They'll be exposed to some things that they weren't exposed to. It's going to be a learning experience where they can grow. because your partner is supposed to also help you grow. They're not supposed to be comfortable, like completely like just stunt or in the same place. If somebody's coming into their life and into their world, it should help them to develop even more so and grow. All right, so that's why I say you don't have to have everything in common, just the main things. And that's what you're trying to discern. But what you are trying to look for is, hey, is this if this is an area that they're presenting to me that can help me grow or come out of my shell, that's a good thing. You know, if I'm always in the house and they're saying, I love to be outside to get fresh air, it's very therapeutic for me, then that should be something you share with them at least every now and then, if that's something that they enjoy, and then vice versa. If you're into movies, if you're into Netflix and chilling or whatever, then yes, there are times when they should enjoy that with you. They may not be into it right away, or especially if this is something that they don't ordinarily do. In the beginning, it may feel a little bit awkward or may feel a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, or maybe they're just there for you and just vibing off of you. But you'll be surprised over the course of time. You'll be like, I'm enjoying this because you're spending time with each other. So even if it's something you wouldn't ordinarily do and now you're just doing it just for them, you may come to love and appreciate what it is that they do and enjoy that time. Not just with them, but actually enjoy the activity that you're doing. So I'm saying, get to know you for real, so that when you have conversations and people are asking you questions to get to know you, you're able to give them at least a response or an answer as to what it is that you do and why. Because if you're not participating in the conversation appropriately, then you're wasting that person's time. So I think for me, it was the mere fact that, number one, I gave you another chance by telling you that it was okay for you to call me, even though I unmatched you because you didn't follow through. And I expressed to that person how consistency is a value. It's a core value for me. So if my spouse or future spouse or potential spouse or someone that wants to date me is not consistent and they're not reliable, they're just not my person. And I'm going to be able to tell because I'm going to be able to see it in your actions. It's not something you'll be able to hide. It's just either you are consistent or you're not. And the excuses for me right in this stage of life that I'm in, it's just not going to fly. It's just not. It's just not who you are. It's just not a part of your character. And if that is the case, again, you're just not for me. And I'll have to be honest, if you happen to be male, most women won't want you either. If you're not consistent. Most women on the planet want consistency. And that's a character issue. And if that's an issue, if that's something you really struggle with, then again, pause on the dating, because you're going to continue to run up against some brick walls, because no woman is going to be okay with giving you her number and then having you call back a week later. And then when you not call, but text, and then when you text, you're almost like, reprimanding because they decided to just unmatch you because they haven't heard from you. Instead of just taking accountability to say, hey, you know what? I don't know what happened. My phone broke. Because there could be a logical reason as to why that call was never made. There could be. But you had the number. So, at some point you should have called, but you didn't. And then you didn't really justify. You didn't really explain it, didn't apologize for anything. So again, being a leader, it's so important to lead by an example. So if you're expecting me or anyone for that matter to keep their word and to be consistent, then you have to lead in that. And that's what I'm looking for. That's very much at the top of the list. Integrity and consistency. So, okay. So anyway, I thought about our conversation after he did call, and he wouldn't answer questions. Like, he still wouldn't answer the question. He never told me about himself. He wouldn't answer a question about what he did for a living. And he tried to make the case as to why he felt like that was inappropriate, which is weird. And then what else? There was something else. Oh, I asked him, I said, can you answer this question? It's basic question. I said, what phone service do you use? And the reason why I asked him is, and I will tell you, especially as us ladies, men, let me give you a secret. Because we are concerned about our safety, most of us do our due diligence, and we do, if not a full background check, we will do at least a reverse lookup on your phone. Okay? Now, the reason why I'm sharing this is because you need to know that the internet, the interweb, has interconnected all of us. We're a lot closer because of it, which means that the information that is out there on the web is accessible to most people. Because if you're on social media, if you have apps on your phone, data is being collected. All right. Unless you did what this person did, which was they have the online phone number. Okay. The reason why I knew is because I searched it out and I found out exactly the type of phone service that he uses and the type of phone number that is. It's an internet number. And people use it for business purposes, and they also use it for purposes that are probably not safe, meaning they are scammers. Okay, and they're trying to conceal their identity, or they're trying to conceal their whereabouts. And that's concerning for me. That's concerning. And so when he was asked what his service was, and he began to deflect again, right? See, for me, I don't have anything to hide. So if you were to ask me what my service on my phone is, because it's multifold. If we're trying to communicate, and let's say one day we want to take it to the next level. Let's say if you live a distance, we can't see each other immediately, maybe. Then the next step would be a virtual hangout or a virtual meet and greet. You know what I mean? Where we can do a video chat. How we would go about doing that, it depends on the type of phone that you have. So by asking that question, it gives you, again, different information that you need to be able to say, hey, you know what? Maybe we can do a FaceTime. Why? I'll know you're able to do it if you tell me you have an Apple phone. Okay? Or if you have an Android. We'll have to determine, okay, well, maybe we can do it this way, or maybe we can do it that way. So again, I'm the type of person where I'm like 10 steps ahead. I'm often in the future. So this is the types of things I'm asking. But anyway, since I was aware of what it is that he had, I was asking him the question to see if he would be honest. If he would be honest, and then he would explain why he had that kind of number, or just simply say, yeah, this is my work number. Yeah, this is exactly, but you know what, here's my personal number. That would give him an opportunity to say, hey, yep, this is for this purpose. I use it for this purpose. I use it to screen people. But here's my main number from my Apple, or from my iPhone, or from my Android, or whatever the case may be. That would have gave an opportunity to do that. But what did he do? He deflected again. All right, this is Dating Chronicles. So after that, it became like a tit for tat kind of conversation. And he's like, and he began to explain of how God, he wouldn't hurt you, and he wouldn't. I know he wouldn't. The Bible says not to put your trust in men, not to put your trust in princes. The Bible says to guard your heart with all diligence. Why would we need to guard our heart if there's not a potential for it to be broken or hurt, or you to be hurt by people? Even David said, it was those that I took sweet counsel with. Those are the ones that hurted me the most. So you have to be wise when you are getting to know people, especially complete strangers. They have to earn their trust. All right. So I'm well aware of this. So, and I'm having this conversation. I'm saying, yes, He's the creator, but he's given us free will. He's relinquished some of his control because of the divine order, because of the rules of engagement when it comes to this, with the universe, with our world, with this realm, with this dispensation. Yeah, there are rules of engagement. And so therefore, God's not going to force you, make you, coerce you, control you. That's just how it works. God gives us free will, but he'll lead us and guide us into spaces and places. And as long as we're inquiring and asking him for guidance, and if we are submitted, then yes, God will lead us in God. If we have an ear to hear what the Spirit is saying, yes, He will lead us safely. But unfortunately, with some, if not a lot of folks, they're not open to hear and to get that instruction. To make a long story short, what happened? As we begin to go back and forth tip with that, I'm glad somebody else was right there, because I eventually put the phone on speaker, turned on my speaker, just so that the other person could kind of hear what was going on. And they discovered that this person is a little off. And I was like, you think so? Like, I had him on speaker and just had me on mute, just so I can just let him just talk. Mind you, this was our first time on the phone. I was turned off. So after we got off the phone, he said, I don't know if I'm going to call you later. I'm like, okay, all right, bye. And so I thought about it. I processed it. I talked about it, blah, blah, blah. And I came to the conclusion, I'm like, no, this is not going to work for me. Because if you can't, I am one of those ones where I'm constantly giving people chances. But at a certain point, you need to have boundaries. And so, especially with strangers, they have to earn your trust. So the boundaries are there for a purpose. And so I made a decision, since this person was not being forthcoming and unwilling to answer basic questions to the point where they were becoming combative. This is not going to work. Hold on, friends. All right, I'm back. So to make a long story short, dating Chronicles, I decided to let the person know and trust them. We don't have to be kind enough to do that. We're not obligated to, but we're grown. And so I felt like maybe he should be aware that this is not going to work. So I let him know, listen, thought about it. I don't think that we're compatible. And that was it. And I blocked him. I said, I hope you find what you're looking for. But I'm not her. I'm not her. Now, he was trying to convince me, sometimes we could block our blessings. Here's the thing about God. Here's the thing. God is well aware of both parties. He's well aware. What God has joined, remember, you have to keep this in mind for those that are aspiring to be married. You have to keep in mind that what God joins together, right? God is joining you together. Let no man put asunder. So if he's joining you, that means he has the complete understanding of your temperament and all the things that pertain to you. Your purpose, your mindset, your moods, all of it, your persona, your personality, everything about you. The Almighty is well aware of those things. Okay? Well aware, not confused. Not one iota, not one bit. Not one bit. So, with that being said, when he joins you with someone, there's going to be compatibility. There's going to be compatibility when he joins you. He's not going to join you with somebody that is not compatible. He's just not going to do that. With that being said, okay, it's as much as people take it personal, I don't even take it personal anymore. Because the truth of the matter is that I want somebody that is for me. I don't want somebody who's not. You know what I'm saying? I don't want somebody. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to do something. Sorry, y'all. I'm doing something wrong. So yeah. So the Lord, he's aware of all these things. And because God is wise, he's all-knowing, he don't miss. He doesn't miss. Okay? He's not missing. You don't, oops, that person wasn't the best person for them. My bad. That's not God. So with that being said, being that he's all-knowing and wise, we're not going to be matched with any and everybody. Especially if you consider your purpose. God is just not going to do that. All right? And it doesn't matter how much a person wants you or how much you want a person. If the individual isn't suitable, they're just not suitable. That means there's somebody else for them. And that's who they need to be, in conversation with, not you. Because you, if that person isn't your person, then you're in the way. You know what I mean? You're in the way. Until they're available, they won't be able to meet the person that's really for them. So no, you don't be in these dating loops with people that you know that person's not for you. You know that. Don't you just stay in a situation, just believing that, oh, it's gonna be all right and blah, blah, blah. No. Nope. If it's not there, it's not there. If it's not there, it's not there. And it's not about this, it's not about that. It's about God's will being done. That's what. Okay, and it's not about people's feelings. Again, it's about God's will being done. Okay, so saying all that to say, sometimes you gotta. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to put some stuff away while I'm talking to y'all. Yeah, sometimes we have a heart set on certain people that we meet. We feel like that they're a good catch. We feel like this and this, but it's not about like how we feel per se. It's really about what the Almighty has to say as well. And I'm constantly that person that prays and asks God to just move them out, move them out, move them out. Whether it's me making a decision or seeing the light, or whether it's them, just being non-responsive or whatever. That's God's way of communicating. Yep. So that's all I got. I think I've said enough as far as dating chronicles. So if you happen to meet somebody that seems to be super duper special and they are engaging, they're answering questions, being cooperative, they're not just taking, but they are giving. That's even in conversation, because there's a lot of folks that are just takers. They just want to know, they don't want to give anything. Watch out for those people. That's a red flag. If they can't give in conversation, then more than likely they're a taker. And they're not only going to take, but they're going to take in life. They're going to take either resources from you, they're going to steal your time, and they have no intention on pouring back to you. You need a relationship that is reciprocal. You need a person that's willing to give, just like they're willing to receive. That's the best type of relationship, whether they be male or female. And it should be a reciprocal relationship. You both should be giving to each other, and you should both be healthy enough to receive, because there's some folks that are so used to giving that they're not comfortable receiving. You have to watch out for that too. So, if you're not healed enough because you're so used to giving, because you're people pleasing, and you're afraid of being rejected if you don't do what everybody wants you to do, then again you're moving from a place of scarcity, a scarcity mindset. You're in survival mode, and that means that you need to heal. So again, folks that are ready, fully ready for something meaningful, have done their work or they are doing their work. So if somebody was to call them out on maybe some of the behavior or some of the things, they'll be able to, bring it in. They'll be able to, make the correction, with some help and some guidance, and they'll hold themselves accountable, So that's it. That's my dating chronicles for today. If folks are not willing to participate, and again, you shouldn't have to beg someone to do the basics. That's pretty much the theme for this conversation. You shouldn't have to beg for the basics. Shouldn't have to. Let me give you a point. You're being forced to beg for the basics. It's just God's way of letting you know that, this is not somebody that you should, investing your time and your energy and effort into knowing, because that's just simply a person that's just not suitable at all, or this is just not the time of the season. But yeah. All right. So that pretty much concludes the live on today. I hope you learned something. But do me this favor, for those of you that are really truly on a dating scene, and maybe you are running into some dead ends with dating. You're trying to understand, well, why is it that I'm having a problem? I can maybe get into something, or I can meet somebody, and it may be, going well in the beginning, but I can't keep that momentum going. I can't seem to seal the deal. Like I said, let me make some suggestions. First of all, maybe you're coming off a little bit, especially if you're not a conversationalist and that sort of thing, especially if the conversation is not meaningful. Because there are people that like to talk, but the conversation is not meaningful conversation. Okay, so I would recommend maybe looking into some things in terms of talks, points, things that you can discuss. Like, you have to bring it to home, meaning make it personable to you. So when you're having a conversation, no, it's not necessarily all about you, because you should be curious about the person that you're trying to get to know. So when they're asking questions about you, you're exploring yourself enough to be able to articulate what makes you tick or what you're into, your likes, your interests, and even your dislikes, if it's appropriate. Okay, try to focus on positive things. Unless if it's food, and then they're saying, hey, well, I really enjoy, let's say, what am I? I'm allergic to shellfish, right? I just discovered that. I didn't even know that previously. But if they say, I really love seafood, I really love shellfish, and then that is an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I'm allergic to shellfish. Bringing up something that would be perceived to be negative, but it's life-saving. So yet it's a positive. So it's something, again, we're talking about that need to know. If you're talking about food, you're planning a date, and they're telling you this is what they love, this is something they love to prepare, and it's something that you're actually allergic to, that you're having allergy to, that's something that they need to know. So you should bring that up. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, wow, I'm so glad you told me, because, I wouldn't want to prepare a meal and God forbid, it would be a whole problem. So I'm glad that it came up. So I'm just saying, know you well enough to be able to answer questions, because the questions are going to come. They're going to ask you why. They're going to ask you, why did you choose them, or why are you interested in them? You can't answer that in an intelligible way, which means you don't have to be highly intelligent, but you should at least be able to answer it. I read your profile. We seem to have some things in common. If you don't want to focus, oh, you're pretty. Okay. That's a very surface response. So what I would encourage you to do is dig a little bit deeper. Remember some of the things that you saw on that person's profile and say, hey, I noticed you like this type of music, or I saw that you were from this particular state or this area, or you're of certain ethnicity. Hey, I'm Hispanic too. Or hey, I got Hispanic background. Or you're trying to find connections. And that will help you to navigate through the communication aspect. And also help you to make meaningful connections and not just talk the weather, politics. Okay, all that's cool. But if you're not making connections, they're trying to figure out why you and why me, why us together. You're trying to help them to see, especially if you're really interested in them, especially if you feel it or you sense that this is a person that you can be with. Because sometimes we have, this intuition before gathering the information that this is a good fit. But the data should confirm the intuition, what you feel. And so that's the whole point of the conversation. So never avoid conversation. Now, for those that are into the dating and they just want to do, should you have fun? Yes. But you should also have some decent conversation as well. Because sometimes the fun can get in the way. Because listen, there are chemicals that are released when you're interactive. When you're active with each other, you're doing things together, there are certain chemicals that are released in the fun. So while you're having fun with them, while you're having a good time, yes, you are literally releasing bonding hormones. But if you haven't asked them one qualifying question, but you're doing things to bond you, to discover this person is up. No, we're like, well, when we get to it, when we get beyond the chemistry, when I start asking them some qualifying questions, we're like oil and water. You're going to discover that. And so that's why I say, especially in the initial phases of dating, it's really more about the conversation than anything else. It's really about, and it's not to say that through the conversation that you can't have a good time. Because there's many times when I've been in some really great conversations with people and had a good time. Had a wonderful time. Just meeting at a coffee house, sitting down and having conversation. Totally had a good time. So it is totally possible to have a good time just by communicating. And then once you've gathered enough data to say, hey, you know what? I'm ready to have some fun with this person. I want to see if they're good sportsmen. Let's go do some miniature golfing and see if they have good sportsmanship. Let's see if they're a sore loser, or let's see if they're a good sport. Again, you're trying to assess their character. Again, it's not just about the fun for the sake of fun. You're still trying to determine if this is your person. Yes, hang out. Then, once you've gotten the information that you need to determine if this is somebody that, okay, checking off the invisible boxes. Okay. We're on the same page. With faith, we're on the same page when it comes to family, what our core values are. We're on the same page when it comes to work ethic and goals pertaining to work and finances. We're on the same page. Okay, cool. Let's have some experiences now. I think we're ready to have some experiences. But we're ready to have some fun. Now I want to spend more time with this person. Now I feel more comfortable spending time with this person. Why? Because they have been qualified. Okay? But what people do is, unfortunately, is they do the reverse. And they start spending time and they don't ask questions and they don't quantify. They don't qualify at all. They just vibes. And then what they'll discover is, we don't have anything in common. I don't really like them like that. We're not on the same page like I thought we were. Because you didn't take enough time, especially in the beginning, when you don't have nothing to lose, to ask the right questions. All right, friends, let me let you go. I hope this helps. I really do. Because I want y'all to win. I want you to connect with your purpose partner. Because from where we're going, you're going to need that companionship. God says 2 is better than 1. These are scary times, y'all. Scary times. So it's a good time to find your person and to start building. We just don't know how much time we have left. Real talk. All right, then. Y'all be blessed. Y'all take care. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.